Trebone and those folks I'm sure were listening too on Sat Alpha, the designated AFO satellite frequency. Everything was set up so we could talk to everybody, and we were in a good position where we had the entire valley covered. All he needed now were planes and bombs. Below him, in the center of the valley, the enemy's preparations, advance warning, and superior numbers did provide them certain advantages, but could they use them effectively? Intercepted requests revealed their concerns as well as their strategy. The traitors and their American allies are going to attack soon. We need to bring reinforcements to the village. Malawi Saif al-Rahman Nasrullah Mansour was the commander responsible for fielding such requests and for shaping the overall strategy. With hundreds of mujahideen under his command, his assessment did not agree with his subordinate's request. Based on his experience as a sub-commander under Haqqani in the Soviet campaign, during which they were victorious, he replied, "There is no need. We were in Shahikot during the first Afghan jihad against the Soviets. There were 6 mujahideen in total, and we were surrounded by 10 tanks. Over 5 air attacks were staged on us in a single day, and there were about 100 Soviet soldiers who attacked us from the land. All praise belongs to Allah alone. They were not able to set foot on a single handspan of the village, and we remained in this same state for about 1 week." Convinced the high ground, coupled with mortars and anti-aircraft systems throughout the valley, along with Allah's blessing, and the hundreds of fighters who'd fled from the north, was adequate to defeat the soft Americans. They waited, reciting their daily prayers. The stage was set for the morning's U.S.-led invasion on the Shahikot. 3 postage stamp-size elements of America's finest troops, 13 men in all, waited to battle 1,000 to 1,500 hardened and experienced fighters of the jihad, who were arrayed across 200 square miles of fortified fighting positions. They were armed with heavy machine guns, anti-aircraft weapons, mortars, and artillery, and occupied the vast majority of the high ground surrounding the Shahikot Valley. Yet for all of AFO's capability and experience, Blaber's troops were merely peripheral to Operation Anaconda's main thrust. The plan to eliminate the enemy was simple. The U.S. Army intended to drop a few hundred infantry troops from the 10th Mountain and 101st Airborne onto the valley floor. They would then establish blocking positions against the mountains to serve as an anvil against which the theoretically terrified al-Qaeda fighters fleeing ATF forces, augmented by Chris Haas's Green Berets, would be crushed. But Army planners did not have accurate enemy numbers, nor did they understand the enemy's intention. They also fundamentally misunderstood their foe, as evidenced by Mansour's directives. The al-Qaeda field commander correctly assessed where the Americans would land and began moving troops into position accordingly. As the hours ticked down for the operation to commence, Juliet team continued to report enemy activity and waited for H-hour. The plan was, prior to H-hour, we would have control of fires, airstrikes, and after H-hour, the 101st would have control. Jay was steadily building his target list, double-checking distances and locations with his Delta teammates, and occasionally exchanging information with Andy. He could feel the tension rising from the valley. Al-Qaeda and the Taliban could be seen on the Whale to his southwest and in the villages in the valley. Strangely, or not as it would turn out, the latter had very few locals and none of the activity one would expect of daily Afghan life. Everywhere they looked were exclusively adult males moving with purpose. Other prominent sites, including the peak of Taker Gar to the south, also revealed enemy activity. In the valley, J-Team reported that the Army's HLZs remained clear of obstacles and enemy fortifications. This wasn't surprising since the HLZs, centered in the valley and on level ground in front of the mountain peaks, afforded no tactical advantage.